Verse 83, Sri Vishnu Sahasranaama Stotra, Samavarto Nivrutatma, Durjayo Duratikramaha, Durlabho Durgamo Durgo, Duravaso Durariha, Samavartaha Anivrutatma, Durjayah Duratikramaha, Durlabha Durgamaha Durgaha, Duravasaha Durariha. Samavartaha, skillful turner of the cycle of creation, sustenance, and maintenance of the entire universe. Anivrittatma, never turning away from challenges of defeating the unrighteous, helping the righteous, and maintaining dharma. Durjayaha, invincible, cannot be defeated by anyone. Duratikramaha, he has to be readily obeyed. No one has a choice but to listen to him. Durlabha, he can be obtained only with great effort. Durgamaha, he is similar meaning. He is also one who can be known with great difficulty and consistent effort. Durgaha, he is not easily realized. Duravasaha, even you seem to understand, comprehend the theme. It is very difficult to maintain stability. It is not easy to retain him in our minds. Durariha, he is a slayer of the asuras and all asuric tendencies. Samavartaha means skillful turner, turner of the wheel. Here the reference is to the wheel of life and death, the samsara. It is constantly turned, it is constantly turned by the law, which is none other than the Lord. This refers to at the microcosmic level of the birth, growth, old age, and death of individuals. It also refers to the creation of the entire universe, maintenance of the universe, and finally a dissolution of the universe. Both this microcosmic and macrocosmic turning of the wheel is done by stream. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, verse 61, chapter 18, he says, Ishvaraha sarvabhutanam hruddeshorjuna tishtati भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां हृद्देशो अर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्र आरूढानि मायया. Lord Krishna is telling, O Arjuna, he now referring to Brahman in a third person, the Lord by his Maya, causing all beings to revolve as if mounted on a machine. He is dwelling in the hearts of all beings. He is not somewhere outside. He is very much residing in your heart and makes you again and again on that. He is the one who never retreats. The spelling mistake is here. Retreats from anything. The next name says Anivrutatma. Anivrutatma means never turning away. He is the one who never turns away. Anivrutatma. His mind is turned away from all sense indulgences. Anivrutatma, he never turns away from discharging his cosmic functions. He never turns away from anything but enters into everything as the very self in every being, everything. Same universal supreme Narayana or Mahavishnu or Super Brahman, whatever you call it, Supreme Consciousness. The same consciousness is present in every person. Residing in every person, he helps every individual to function, enabling all his functionalities, his body and perceptions to work, his mind to think, his mind to feel, and his intellect to think. All these functions are enabled in everyone by Supreme. He is also the one, he is never, when he is challenged by any evil strong force, he will never back out. He will not turn away from battle. This name can also be read as Nivrutatma. Nivrutatma has opposite meaning. This is very clear. This is explained in Mundaka Upanishad with a simile of two birds. The two birds, bound one to the other in close friendship, they are perching on the self same tree. But while one of them eats the fruits of the tree with relish and happiness, the other one simply looks on without eating. The second bird is a Nivrutatma. It does not, it is very much in the world, but not getting involved. It is not getting attached to the fruits of action. This is a very symbolic and meaningful small anecdote. The Supreme is one who cannot be conquered by anyone else. So it's called Durjayaha, invincible. He cannot be conquered by anyone. Now, coming to our own individual, in majority of us, there is a preponderance of the lower urges, lower passions, what we call the animal instinct. These are very much there. But over a period of time, we can gradually evolve by consistent effort and meditation and focus on the Supreme. We will be able to gradually move away from a animal instinct to the higher living, detached from the lower, attached to the higher. That is what we should try to do. But this is possible only when we are able to obtain the grace of the Lord by our consistent devotion and effort. Now, let us also understand that whether we like it or not, whether one likes it or not, destiny, what you call destiny, cannot be disobeyed. Duratikramaha, the supreme power, or you call it the law of cause and effect, or the universal law. This is extremely strong and extremely powerful. You cannot disobey. Kathopanishad says, even the fire, even the sun, they have to obey him, obey the supreme law, whatever the law is there. It says, Bhayat Agnihi Tapati, Bhayat Tapati Suryaha, Bhayat Indraha Chavayushta, Mrityuhu Bhavati Panchamaha. It says, no object or no being dares to disobey the Lord. That is the cosmic law. Through fear of him, the fire burns. Through fear of him, the sun shines. Through fear of him, Indra and Vayu, they function. Even death itself has to discharge its function for fear of the supreme law. That means the law, supreme law, has to be obeyed by everybody. The term atikramaha means going beyond. The term Duratikrama therefore means a state beyond which no one can go. Narayana is the final and absolute destination of all evolution. He is the transcendental reality. And other than him, there is nothing else for a person to travel or nothing else for a person to achieve. One who is Durjayaha, invincible, and Duratikramaha, one who is readily obeyed by even cosmic forces, can be obtained. Such a person, such a state, Such a parandhama can be obtained only with determined and consistent effort, not easily attainable. Durlabha. Durlabha means cannot be obtained easily, or it means it obtained with considerable effort, consummate effort, because that is the final destination to all evolution. It represents spiritual perfection, but it is not very easy to even to get the status of man, a human being itself is very difficult. Maybe all of us would have evolved as some insignificant unicellular existence. Gradually, birth after birth, after consistent effort, maybe millenniums of slow evolutions, we would have reached the stage of manhood, of human status. Now, once you have got the human status, now it is for us to achieve the next goal, the rational goal, the logical goal. Only purpose of life is to attain godhood. This is the reward. But this reward is available. Maybe it will take slow and steady efforts of evolutions are required. It is not easy. The way an organism reaches the height of human being after great efforts. Now, same human being also will have to proceed through selfless, dedicated service, deep and individual devotion, serious and sincere study of the scriptures. Only then you will be able to reach the supreme goal. That's why it said it is not easily attainable because the human being, human mind is always preoccupied with material objects, with what is available in the world's attractions. We are doing that. It's not very easy to go towards divert your mind there. Bhagavad Gita says, Purushaka saparaka partha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya bhaktya labhyaka tu ananyaya yasyantastani bhutani ena sarvamidam tatam. The Supreme Being in whom all the beings are dwelling, and and the Supreme Being by whom all this is pervaded, even then it is indeed attainable. It is attainable, not impossible, attainable, but with unwavering devotion. That is very important. For those, but for those without developed meditative abilities in their hearts, he is Durgamaha. Durlabaha means obtained with great difficulty. For those people who don't have this, it is almost impossible to obtain. Durgamaha, known with great difficulty. The process of self-development, it is not very easy. But for every person, for a beginner whose mind is not yet fully developed, a person who has yet to cultivate the meditative abilities in their hearts, the process of self-development which we hear from a read from a book or hear from a teacher, it appears to be very, very difficult in the first instance. But as once the seeker is determined and as he proceeds in sadhana, he gets further guidance and he gets inspiration automatically from the Supreme to proceed forward. Now, the Supreme will always act like the benevolent Lord will act like a torchlight. It will kindly light, it will lead him safely to the goal through all the obstacles. The path is long, the path is difficult, but guidance is always there. Only what is required is persistence, persistence and total faith and dedication. For example, when a person is proceeding on a long journey in a night, suppose he has a small candle with him, a small torch with him. This small torch can light up only the next 10 to 15 yards in front of the traveler. It cannot illuminate entire stretch up to destination. But if he proceeds slowly, The torch will enable him to proceed slowly, progressively. As he covers the distance, it will light up the way further. So once he starts and proceeds without getting demoralized, he will be able to march forward, and certainly he will be able to reach his like this, stretch by stretch, entire path is illuminated. This is what the Supreme Lord, very well Lord, helps us to proceed further. What is required is only you must have faith. You must have total faith and belief in Him, and proceed gradually, systematically, not expecting instant results. So Narayana is not attainable by the senses, by the mind, by the intellect. So he is, we say, is Durgaha, not easily realized. All these names are related names. They will tell you how you should not get demoralized, but it is not an easy method. Not easily realized. Durgaha. Durga means a fortress. In the fortress, it is it is fortified with what is called Maya. The Bhagwan's Maya itself acts like a wheel. So we are not able to see the entire path very, very clearly. And this will have to be lifted very, very gradually. And this can happen again with the grace of the Supreme. Lord Krishna himself clarifies and himself alerts us, a sort of a friendly warning in verse 14 of chapter 7. He says, Daivi hi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. He says, this divine illusion, maya gunamayi mama daivi maya, this divine illusion of mine, gunamayi, which is made of the three gunas, is duratyaya, is difficult to cross over. But those who seek me alone can cross the illusion. Mam eva ye prapadyante. Only those who seek me, mayam etam tarantite. This maya, they will be able to cross over. The divine illusion of mind is there. It is difficult to cross. It is made up of gunas. It is not easy to cross. But those who seek me, that is, those who believe me, trust me, have faith in me, though pursue this path, they will be able to cross this illusion. That is what Lord Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita. So, Narayana, he cannot be perceived by the senses, he cannot be imagined by the mind, cannot be thought of by the intellect. These being our only source of knowing, it appears that it is impossible to realize the truth. It is not impossible. It is difficult for a person who is focused on the outside world, fascinated with the attractions of the outside world. It is very difficult. But for a person who approaches the Supreme, it is possible. One more name is there, which also says, even if we attain him, it is very difficult to retain him. Even yogis find it difficult to persist in meditation. So, Supreme is known as Duravasaha, not easily lodged, not easy to lodge within the heart steadily, even for great seekers. Even great rishis like Vishwamitra, they suddenly fall down from a high pedestal because they are not able to pursue consistently. It is not easy to withdraw the mind from the objects of pleasure. To steadily contemplate the great seat of life, it is not easy. Sometimes even yogis who are persevering in meditation, they also sometimes tumble and fall down. 63, verse 33 of chapter 6, when Arjuna is asking Krishna, Arjuna, listening to Lord Krishna, he says, out of helplessness, he says, due to restlessness, I do not see the enduring stability of this yoga of equal taught by you. Oh Krishna, you are telling me so many things, but I feel it is not easy because the mind is restless. Yoyam yogastvaya proktaha साम्येन मधुसूदना एतस्याहं न पश्यामि चञ्चलत्वात् स्थितिं स्थिराम्. Now, it is better not to stop here. Let us, I'll also tell you what next verse of Sri Krishna. What was the answer of Lord Krishna? Lord Krishna says, Asamshayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam. I agree with you. It is not easy. Undoubtedly, what you're saying is true. It is not easy to retain the supreme in your mind. But he says, Abhyasena tu kaunteya. Abhyasena. He says, with practice, you can attain. Don't get disheartened. It is difficult. Asamshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya. Oh kaunteya, oh my dear Krishna, Arjuna, you practice, persist, you will be able to achieve it. Now the next name is Durariha, being invincible and not easily attainable. He is the person who is the slayer of the unrighteous asuras. When we say asuras, it is not just a being. He is a person who destroys not only the unrighteous persons, but also the unrighteousness, the devilishness, which is the negative tendencies, what we call asuric tendencies, which are there in the bottom, in the bosom of every seeker. Every seeker has this problem. If nothing else is there, at least raga, dvesha, ahankara, mamakara. These are the evils. They are there in everybody. Now, dedicated invocation of the Lord will help us to cleanse our hearts of these negative tendencies. So, we should pray to Durariha. You pray to the slayer of the asuric and negative tendencies in us and help us. Request him to help us to become fit to reach his Parandhama. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.